Professor of Chinese Studies at the Jawaharlal Nehru University. So let's start with the Chinese tariffs on the US. What impact will they have, and when will US businesses and customers start feeling them?
Well, actually, this will have a negative impact on China rather than on the United States, because China has surplus of nearly $275 billion last year with the United States, while United States had exported roughly about slightly more than $100 billion. So China can impose tariffs to the tune of roughly about $100 billion worth of goods of the Americans exported to the Chinese. However, in the case of China, they're exporting more to the United States, so they will have a negative impact based on this. Of course, the American consumers will also be affected with high tariffs imposed by the Trump administration previously and now. And this will have a say on the overall impact on the bilateral relations. It appears that while Canada and Mexico have also been identified in this, a few hours before, when US President spoke about the 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel. However, it is the Chinese who are the targets of the United States' current round of tariff wars.
Yeah, so tell me more about how the new tariffs on steel and aluminium goods would actually impact things in the US.
Well, since China produces the largest iron and steel in the world today, they produce something like 800 million tons of steel, and much of this is exported outside. But the tariffs of United States will also affect the South Korean, Vietnamese, Canadian, and Mexican steel exports to United States. Nevertheless, it is China which is going to be affected in this sector as well, because of the impositions that United States will have 25%. Although in the current announcement, it is not mentioned who is the target by Trump administration. Nevertheless, this will be clarified in a day or two. And since the Chinese have imposed retaliatory tariffs, 15% on coal and LNG exports of the United States, as well as the anti-monopoly action on Google and a few other American companies. This would have some negative consequences in terms of the steel exports from China to the United States.
From the point of view of industrial workers in the US who obviously support Donald Trump, these people in former industrial hubs like the Rust Belt and so on, you can kind of understand why they might think US tariffs are popular. They hope it might boost US domestic manufacturing and get them more and better jobs. Do you think that will actually happen, though?
One do not know, but because the Trump's election campaign is making America great again, and they want to shift the manufacturing sector into the Rust Belt, as you mentioned, the plan is to have these relocated. United States has about 77,000 companies in China with over $700 billion of investment. So the Trump's plan is to shift some of these companies back into the United States, specifically in the Midwest, and create jobs for the Americans. However, the tariffs have actually increased the cost for the US consumers, and over $800 per head per household in the United States have increased. So they have suffered these tariffs. However, the United States wants to earn something like $80 billion out of these tariffs in terms of revenues. So this could possibly be used for the setting up of industries or helping industries to be relocated. So that is the plan.
Okay, all right. Srikanth Kondapalli, thank you so much for your input this morning.